Hello, and welcome to the Edain mod for Lord of the Rings Battle for Middle-earth 2, The Rise of the Witch King. And similarly to the Age of the Ring mod, it has a lot of uniqueness to it. But I think for this video, I've decided, after several times trying and failing to get a solo play skirmish battle done, I'm going to just do a quick look at the different heroes, the custom heroes you can make. While also talking about lots of other things. As you can see, you've got some nice new things here you didn't have before. You got yourself a nice Edain Ranger, a Commander of Khan Doom, and a Hashari. And having a closer look at them all, you can see there are a lot more, very more various. Yeah, that's English. Much more variety to each of them. So obviously, you start with the heroes of the Free Peoples. Then there's the Defenders of the Woods, the Guardians of the Mountains, the Servants of Darkness, the Servants of Sauron, the Warriors of the East and South, and the Olog High. So looking back to the Heroes of the Free People, they used to be called, it used to be just the Defenders of Man, because obviously there's just Captain of Gondor and the Shield Maiden, but there's now a new hero to add to the list, the Elf Lord. The Elven Lord. So more of a melee version of the original Elven hero, which is always an archer. But as you can see, there's also now a human archer, the Ranger. Then you've got yourself your Dwarven heroes, which are the same. And then you see this, and you think, oh, things are very, very different. And they are. Then, this is where the wizard used to exist. Now the Servants of Darkness. You've got your Black Númenórean and a Commander of Khan Doom. Both are the same. They don't have any variants. It's just well, obviously, visually they're different, but power-wise they're exactly the same. Then you got yourself your Servants of Sauron, which was obviously back in BFME 2. The Servants of Sauron also included the Olog High troll. But that was changed in The Rise of the Witch King to include the Snow Trolls and the Hill Trolls of the created heroes. Then we have a look at the Warriors of the East and South. There used to be an Easterling option, but that's now been reduced to the Haradrim and the Hashari, the Warriors of the Deserts. Obviously, you can just, for example, the Haradrim, you can still get the Easterling armor. That's still there. There's no stopping you from doing it. There's also the Corsair armor. If you wanted to go full Corsair, you can. There's still even the Assassin armor that they had. They put in ages and ages ago, and quite a few people. What am I talking about? Creator heroes. I always enjoyed making an assassin hero. Out of the Warriors of the East and South, but the Hashari takes it to a new level. So now we have a quick look at each of their variations. So the Captain of Gondor, as you can see, no real difference. Can look like a man of Rohan, man of Gondor, a Númenórean, a god of the Fountain Court, or just go bold, or near bold. So obviously that's the same design as from BFME 2, Rise of the Witch King. Same here, Fountain Guard stuff. And our Númenórean stuff. And I'm fairly certain, yeah, there are no changes to this character whatsoever. You can still get all the stuff, randomize it as much as your heart's content, name them whatever, and then you have a look at this, the attributes. So this is something very different. To start with, they used to name them very differently. For example, range used to be perspicacity. But obviously, to make it make it much easier for people to understand exactly what each of them meant, they've renamed them to recharge times, damage, health, experience, and range. So recharge times, that's your powers. So the higher recharge time bar goes, your powers will come back a lot quicker. Damage comes in the form of melee or range damage. It does not class to power damage though. I must note that. This is only basic attack damage. Then there's the health, the full health, and that also includes the health regen of the character. experience, how quickly you gain experience. You could be at like 5 and get experience like Aragorn would, or you could go all the way up to here and get experience like a scout hero like Pippin would. And then range obviously increases, is not limited to a ranged hero, it increases your vision range as well. Although this was normally never touched by any character because of how useless it was, because vision normally didn't mean much in BFME 2. But obviously in the Edain mod, that is vision is a big factor in PvP. And obviously the range also accounts to the character's ability to or shoot further, if they have a ranged weapon, of course. So now we look at the Shield Maiden. Now, she has not changed much from Rise of the Witch King. She was she did get a few things, obviously, like the different helmet, like this helmets. And then obviously she's got the same things as... Oh, I think that's new. Other than that, all the stuff is the same as it always has been. So again, no real uniqueness from Rise of the Witch King. But then we come to the Elven Lord. I know, as you can already see, something very brand new. And he has a lot of variants, because obviously you can have an Elf Lord as any Elf Lord. Obviously this is more of a Sindar look. You can change him around a bit. You can give him more of a scout look. You can make him a warrior elf of the Wooden Realm, or a Galafrim of Lothlorien. If we just come some of these, yeah, that's the shoulder pads of the Wooden Realm. Then this, that can go to the... So this is the Noldorin of, or the Eldarin way of the Third Age, because I think there is also more to silver, but in the obviously in the Second Age they were more green. Then obviously there's the Wood Elven armor. So if we go back to Wood Elven armor and view the rest of that off, get a nice look at that. Get one of those lovely elven swords of Thranduil. Change the shield up a bit. And there you go. You got yourself a warrior elf of Thranduil's realm. And again, you can just change this up. That, I believe, is more than a Galafrim Elf Lord. Then, I think this is more of a First Age design, actually. Because that reminds me something of the Knights of Gondolin. But yep, then you've got the Galafrim Lord, then you've got the actual full Galafrim armor. And obviously the weapon of choice of this character is going to be the sword. Although you can also make him wield Orcrist. You can make him that kind of elf. So let's just quickly make a name. Let's call him N, because I do not have very creative names. Let's quickly give him good recharge time, high damage, decent health, and a bit of experience gain. And then look at the powers. The powers should be no different. I'm fairly certain. Actually, oh yeah, there's a lot of difference. So yeah, the Heroes of the West have obviously the core reinforcements, train allies, spear throw, self-heal, shield crush, horseman, Elendil, battle master, blade master, leadership, invulnerability and cripple strike, the same as it always has been, but there are a lot of changes as well. There's inspiring hero, which used to be Starlight, but obviously that made no sense for a human to control the power of someone like Glorfindel. So they've renamed it to Inspiring Hero. Nearby allies are healed and are earned twice experience, twice as fast. So it's exactly the same as what Starlight used to be. Then Elendil, just changed the portrait, that's it. Now the first new power, Counselor. The hero is appointed as a Royal Counselor. Hero has minus 15% cost of recruitment. 2 counselors in play, 20% cost, and 3 counselors. The only time you'd get more than 1 counselor is if you're playing with multiple either creator heroes or multiple players that have the counselor effect on them. Because otherwise, this is basically just a quick. This counselor is basically you have it, and now you're a portable heroic statue. And then you've got Glorious Banner, which allows you to make portable wells, which is really, really strong. And then we look at the defensive position, the last power, which replaces heroic charge because it didn't make sense if you didn't own a horse to be able to use heroic charge. The hero and nearby units gain plus 75% armor and get minus 20%, but get slower. So it's basically a mass defense stance of like the Gondor soldiers, but for the hero and everyone around them, which makes it is very, very strong. So obviously this character is meant to be a leadership focused character, although it can also be very easily made into a DPS character with things like spear throw, shield crush, the horse, blade master, maybe not the horse, blade master, invulnerability, cripple strike, and then just fill in the rest of the bars as it is. You can make them a leadership focused character by going for like core reinforcements, train allies, inspiring hero, glorious banner, and then just build up to defensive stance. Or you can just be a purely leadership focused character by having things like obviously counselor, leadership, Atlas. So you could be a hero centric. You could be focused on helping your doing single target damage. You can focus upon dealing either single target damage on a hero on hero standoff. Become a unit leadership bonus. So basically you get heroic statue bonuses, portable wells, and portable defensive stances. And then there's more portable units. So yeah, the creator heroes, the Defenders of the West, are very, very powerful because of their massive variety. And now we come to the next list, the Defenders of the Woods. Like before, the elves have no changes to them, so I'm just going to skip over them immediately and go straight to the ranger. So the best thing about this ranger is, he's basically just a Dunedain ranger. Dunedain or a Filian ranger. You can make him a because obviously that's the regalia of the Dunedain of Arnor before they went full rebel kind of thing. Then there's more the Aphelion ranger look, or at least one of them has more of a Aphelion ranger look. But I just prefer this. It just makes them look more regal. Then they've got some of the shoulder pads of the Shield Maiden remade, just to look more like just cheap armor, because obviously a ranger would never want massive amounts of armor. Then helmets, you've got a nice array of hoods to choose from. Your weapon is the same as that as the other Defenders of the Woods. You've got your Orc bow for some reason. You've got a Galathrim royal bow. This bow I like the most. It looks like a kind of dead shot bow. And then obviously you can't have a shield, and then legs the same, just small things that give them a bit more detail. Again, just A. And then say we're going full ranger, so we're going from very far away, and that's it. We don't have much recharge time because we have run passive skills such as archer specialization. But as you can also see, there's a bit of difference here. Of course, the main one is Tornado no longer exists, so you can no longer just go custom heroes, Defender of the Woods, and just get an insta win because the Tornado was so strong, because it's now been revamped into Ambush. 10 rangers appear in a designated target area, which attack enemies in the immediate vicinity and vanish after that. The rangers vary on either the character or the faction you're playing as. Because I'm fairly certain that becomes 10 elves if you're playing as the elven heroes. And again, you see Counselor, and then some of the old powers for the Archer, which such as our specialization, Cripple Shot, which is just alerts as calling card, Toggle the Summon Familiar, which is just summon a non-portable, a non-mobile unit of Crabine, Toggle Weapon, so you can use your sword, Improve Stealth, so you can actually really become an assassin, a very powerful ranged assassin, Elendil has always been there. So is Athelas, which is stronger than the melee self-heal because it's a heal to everyone. Originally, they had self-heal as a way around. But I think it makes sense for them to have Athelas so they're not as strong, because there used to be a bug where if you just self-heal and then immediately move, the self-heal cooldown would be redone. So they made it so you had to stop for a bit before you could use it. Then a new power, Deadeye. Hero gains increased attack speed and with his bow for 20 seconds. So it's basically Thranduil's Deadeye, just not as strong because you can get it from level 1. And then obviously you got your ambush and your rain of arrows. Now the ambush is really strong. It should not be called out for being bad. The rangers can't be attacked. They last longer than that of a rain of arrows, which can often miss its mark if not careful. But obviously both of these are really strong. And oh yeah, the last here I forgot about these. The Thorn of Vengeance, which is again Thranduil's calling card from when he used to be a main archer in BFME 2. And also Windrunner. The hero has increased speed for a small amount of time. And when he gets to here, he becomes immune to arrows. So it's basically a shield crush once you get the Windrunner to be level 3. But you usually don't need Windrunner unless you are meant to be a fast moving DPS. So you'd have things like Thorn of Vengeance, Windrunner, Archer Specialization, and then have things like Ambush, so you can lay your defense. You probably wouldn't run Stealth because you just run in, throw your stuff, and get out. So you probably also have things like Athelas if you want to help, or you could actually just go on without it. Let's build up everything here. Just something like that. So yeah, unfortunately, unlike the Defender, the Archer is very limited in what his specialities is, or what it can specialize in. Obviously, it can become more of a ambush character, or it can become more of a, again, single target DPS. I do recommend the single target DPS. It makes much more sense. So then coming to the Guardians of the Mountains, we'll look at the Wanderer, since the Veteran has no real changes. So the first thing, as you can see, we just get epic armor looking like that. So we're just going to give him that epic armor. The epic Erebor armor. Taken completely from, obviously, the Hobbit films. And another thing you might want to notice, the shield you can get, but the shield is not always guaranteed. If you get the, I think it's if you get the right weapon, that shield becomes a weapon as well, or it used to be. Oh, I think they changed it. But yeah, you can get epic looking shields like that as well. And there is actually a red variant each of these. Except for the chest plate, but you can very quickly just turn that red. Wait, there it is. Just turn it red and gold, kind of like that. Probably inverted colours. Because that just looks terrible. And again, just so we can have a quick look at everything else. For a Guardian, obviously dwarves are meant to be healthy. But you don't want them to get too much experience too quickly, because their early powers are just as good as their later powers. And as you can see, in fact no, the Guardian is probably the least changed. They have Counselor, which obviously is a nice change of pace, but other than that, they've got forged dwarven blades. So this just makes a certain hero stronger, giving them extra damage. But this bonus is lost if the hero dies. So it's not. It can be good, but you have to. You can play a very supportive role and be very thick as you were with things like toughness, because toughness on top of massive health just makes him almost as strong as Rogash in this game, and Rogash is a beast. But yeah, other than that, you can. Obviously, the Dwarven heroes are no slacks. I'm just not showing them off because you can just look at them from BFME 2 if you wanted to. Now then, this is a class that has been completely brought up from the ground. So we'll look at the. They both are the same with their things like helmets. It's just, yeah, when you have a helmet like that, why would you? When you have a choice like that for a helmet, why would you pick any of the others? Because I mean, yeah, troll helmets or bold. or silver mask. But yeah, if you can have a mask like that, why have anything else? Tell me now. So, yeah, and then you can have things like that. So you can just go complete spikes. However, you do get a few lag spikes while working with the Servants of Darkness, because obviously, actually no, I'm not actually sure why it causes so much lag. All I know is it does cause a lot of lag when you're editing this. But yeah, the Black Numenorian, their specialty comes from their powers. Oh yeah, it needs a name. X. Oh, terrible. But yeah, have a look at the powers, and you can see most of them. Some of them are very similar to other characters, like core reinforcements, train allies, Slayer, which is just a version of like Berserker or so on and so forth, Shield Crush, Leadership, Curse Enemy, Invulnerability, Cripple Strike, but the rest of them are brand new and oh, are they fun to play with. So first the Morgul Blade. Exactly the same as what the Morgul Blades of the Nazgul are, but can obviously be upgraded. And then they've got things like Slayer, which is just a nice upgrade. Descent, you can start tier 1 making enemies hostile to each other, and level 2 increasing that range. Then you can get Deathbringer, which is just the reduction that the Nazgul give. But if I was to just go here and here so we can have a look at these two powers. The Well of Souls. The hero sucks life force from the target allies to heal himself. Yeah, let's let that sink in. He actually kills his own kills his own units so he can get stronger. So a nice combo with that would be Well of Souls on top of core reinforcements. Just summon a lot of orcs and then just bleed them dry so you can replenish your own life. Something like this and this. And then finally, Soul Anguish. This power, as you can see in the range of the Dark Marshal, because this is the power of the Dark Marshal in for the Mordor faction, which we'll talk about more once we actually get to that review. But the armor of all units in range of the Dark Marshal will be reduced by 100%, causing even single strikes being sufficient to kill a unit. Thinking of that quote alone, you can imagine how devastating that kind of power is. And it has a massive range. And it's quite easy to tell as well because it turns everything green. And I love it. I love Soul Anguish so much. It's such a cool and unique power that can just ruin elite tier like Gondor armies, Arnor armies, Imladris. Imladris gets ruined by this. Because their units are because they have smaller unit size compared to every other nation. That's been the Black Numenorians. / Guardians of Kharnum. I think the Servants of Sauron are the one class that hasn't changed at all. Yeah, they're still the same as in BFME 2. Oh no, this is new. Oh yeah, they've got quite a few things actually. They're made to be more horde focused. So obviously things like the Warg Ambush is the first one, which summons wargs against an enemy hero, and that slows them down. So then you can go things like core reinforcements. Then there's the steel resources that used to belong to the Haradrim / Easterling, but I don't think they have that anymore because it does make more sense an orc to pillage and plunder more than a human, in my opinion. Then there's the Cripple Strike and the Inspire Fear we've always known and love. Improved Orc Rush, or just Orc Rush. The hero orders some black orcs to temporarily wrestle an enemy hero down to the ground. So yeah, with these kind of powers, you can just harass enemy heroes. Oh wait, no, the hero lets loose a small. Oh, you can just okay. So with the Warg Ambush, it's just you play it and it happens. Core reinforcements is just core reinforcements, but the improved the Orc Rush has to be against an enemy hero, and that's basically just another form of Cripple Strike. Instead, you don't have to get close to them to do it. And finally, the one power that doesn't actually work right now because of problems. Armies of the Depths. The hero summons new orc warriors from the depths. For a short time, all fallen members of nearby hordes will be replaced by new warriors in the chosen barracks or citadel. As much as I like to see that power work, I have tried it in the past and it hasn't worked. I don't know if it's just me not doing it right, but yeah. So that's the Orc and Urukai. They have exactly the same powers: fire bombs, poison arrows, berserker rage, which I think gives them negative to some, yeah, it gives negative armor for a massive boost in attack. Then there's leadership, howl of rage, even more leadership. Oh, train allies leadership. So that's having a quick view at the servants of Sauron. And now the one I think they gave the most benefit to, the Hashari and the Haradrim. So they don't have much variance compared to what they were before. So obviously there's like the assassin's mask that the Haradrim had, and other things. You can make them Haradrim, Easterling looking. Let's call her F, and just go straight to here, so I can show off what these are. So firstly, you got things like Coerce that now looks a lot different than what it used to. So before it was just Wormtongue's face, but now it's got a nice new change to it. It's still the same, just steals units in a large radius forever. Stealth, obviously, has always been a big thing of the assassin class. And yeah, there it is. The main reason why you'd always pick the killing an assassin hero. Does superior amount of damage to an enemy hero. At level 10, the assassin often kills whatever it hits. It doesn't often leave much health much of what was used to be there living. They also have poison attack, which I feel like they should have had in the first place. Toggle weapons always been a thing. Attached spies never been used. But then this is a fun one. The Plague of Locusts. The heroes cause 2 swarms of locusts from the Southlands that launch at enemies in the target area and damage them. Now this is a nice nod to the actual Haradrim, because originally you just had the nice assassin things, and yeah, it was cool and all that, but it kind of lost its uniqueness by not having things like actually saying, okay, I'm bringing these things from the south. Enjoy. And another thing, trained assassin. The hero moves 10% faster and takes 10% less damage than from enemy heroes. That is the ultimate hero killer. And they still have resources. And the funnest thing to ever see is the skies. I love this power so much. I remember when I was still playing BFME 2 regular, I just always pick the disguise on my Haradrim character and just watch them just kill from behind the enemy lines. It was hilarious. But another fun thing, like the ambush of the Defenders of the Woods, these guys, however, remain forever. The hero orders a group of Ashari to observe a certain area, and they're cloaked and are invisible on the radar. But they can be killed. They remain there indefinitely, but they can be killed. But yeah, one day I will be showing off all these characters, and basically they're the strongest of their powers. But you'd always pick something like Prepare an Ambush, because it's so cool. So now, looking at the last class, I don't think anything has changed. Let's just have a look at the Snow Troll to make things look different. Call you L. And as you can see, there isn't actually any changes. The only thing that's different is the look of some of them. Obtain Allegiance is no longer the same look as Dominate Troll. That's now just permanently take control of a target layer. That's how it's always been. Now only the trolls can have that. And then there's Charge. There's actually a way you can just take Untamed Allegiance, leave it as that, and in most games you'd actually win with this character. Obviously you can have other powers, but the more powers you get, the more expensive your hero becomes. So if you really want to just win PvP games, and you're ready, and there aren't any rules against the troll with Untamed Allegiance, just make a cheap troll, give him Untamed Allegiance, and then just take control of layers and just rush your opponent to death. Because the scariest thing about Edain mod, single PvP matches, is just getting rushed out of nowhere with just massive armies. So that's looking at all the created heroes in short detail. I will be showing them off more in the future. But yes, the Edain mod I've managed to fix everything as well. I did actually have a problem. I was actually tried for over an hour to record a video. Found out over 2 hours to try and record one video, and I kept losing to things like Mordor AIs and things. So I'm gonna try more, just getting used to playing the game again, because it has been a long time since I've played the Edain mod. But to have just to give you a quick overview of the main changes of the game, just so I'm not leaving you entirely in the dark for those that haven't played the Edain mod. The first thing is the different factions. You have 8 factions currently to choose from: Gondor, Rohan, Lothlorien, Imladris, the Dwarves, Isengard, Mordor and Angmar. However, Dwarves contains 3 sub-factions, and I will be doing a video for each of those sub-factions. There's Erebor, Ered Luin and the Iron Hills. Then there's obviously there's Gondor, which focuses a lot on the ability to make unique units, such as the fiefdom units, and also revolves around having unique ring heroes. Then there's Rohan, which again like Gondor is very unique in the fact that it focuses around its cavalry, as you could guess, because Rohan without cavalry is not Rohan. If you don't ever make a unit of cavalry in a Rohan battle, you're doing something wrong. Then there's Lothlorien, whose fortress is actually a lot more unique compared to that of the others, because everything comes from the central building. Unlike you got a barracks, your archery range, you just build some attachments to your citadel, and you just build all units from the citadel. Then there's Imladris, which has the smallest unit sizes of all its units, but also have the most elite units in the game. Just for the fact that, yeah, they are the Noldor, the most powerful, most scary units in the game, but also my favourite faction. I love playing as Imladris so much. Then there's the Dwarves. Their uniqueness comes from that they could play as Ered Luin and have all of the 13 Dwarves of Thorin's company. There's the Iron Hills, which is a very I think they made it a very aggressive dwarven nation, and then Erebor was defensive. They may have, I keep thinking they've switched them to around, because they've switched them around quite a few times now. It's quite hard to understand which is which. Then there's Isengard, which focuses mainly on their economy. They are the easiest faction to build up a high economy and just make massive armies of elite Uruk-hai. And that was also shown in their late tier powers. Then there's Mordor, which, unlike in the past, we'd have like your orcs, your trolls, and your Nazgul just doing everything separately. Everything revolves around the Dark Lord Sauron, and you can get him early on in the game, and you have to level him up before you can start doing things. And then Angmar, which revolves around making settlements and outposts. So you have to do early expanding as Angmar to get your elite tier units, because otherwise you're just going to be stuck with Thrall Masters and Wolves. That's it. That's all you're going to get. You need to expand as Angmar so you can get these Thrall carts, or so you can actually build up your economy, and actually that's the only way to upgrade your buildings. But I'll go more into, again, this is just a saying. I've got the Edain mod working. We will be showing it off after I've had more experience playing the game, because I am way behind in experience. Age of the Ring mod and just BFME 2 gameplay on its own is easy enough for me, but the Edain mod, you'll find every battle will probably take over an hour, because they can take a long time. And I'll probably be doing it against easy or medium AIs to begin with as well, because obviously that's the learning curve. You start off small so you can build up to the big stuff. So I hope you all enjoyed this. If you want to see a certain faction first, otherwise we're just going to be going up, down to the very bottom. If you want to see a certain faction off first, just say so. If you want to see me make custom create heroes, just say so as well, and I'll make them. If you want to tell me what kind of character you want them to be, if you want to make the names and so forth, go right ahead. I won't stop you. it just gives me more things to show off. Anyway, enough rattling on. I will be trying to start making these videos on the weekend from now on. Weekday videos will be the Linden campaign for Divide and Conquer, and the weekends will be focused on Edain. However, I may add in 1 or 2 videos just in with the Linden campaign, because I want to keep the Linden campaign rolling as it is, while doing this in the background as well, just so I've got some more stuff to show off. Because again, I've always loved Battle for Middle-earth, and I hope you guys do too. And I'll see you all next time. Farewell.